Hello everyone. Uh, in my earlier video about Lee Kuan Yew, the then Prime Minister of Singapore, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, I forgot to mention a few things. So this is probably part 2 of it. I also talk about another video, talk about his younger brother whom I've met and served on board the plane. His name was Freddie, the late Freddie Lee. So today I'm going to talk about Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. If you watch my previous video, earlier video, you will, it covers quite a lot. So today I'm going to just talk about those points that I've left behind. There was one time when a pilot came down from the cockpit to the Prime Minister and asked him to autograph, sign, on his book, his autobiography. So he handed the book to Mr. Lee, and he was standing by this pilot next to Mr. Lee, who was seated in the first class, of course. And he waited, and Mr. Lee put the book aside, and he carried on with his work, paperwork. And then the pilot stood there for about a few minutes, and Mrs. Lee Kuan Yew, who was seated over the other side of the aisle, shot at told Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, he said, "Harry, the pilot has got to fly the plane, you know." And then Mr. Lee quickly took the book. Oh, I see. He signed the book, autographed the book, and gave it to the pilot. That was incident number 1. Number 2 was when this captain was flying the plane, and he had Mr. Lee behind him in the cockpit, and they were doing a landing at Kai Tak, Hong Kong Kai Tak International Airport. And this captain was trying to impress, I suppose, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. And he told Mr. Lee, he said, "If you look out of the window on your left side, you'll see this island, it's called this, it's called that." So a few times. And Mr. Lee Kuan Yew just told him in a very strict manner, "You just keep your eyes on your control and fly the plane. I know what islands they are." So that was number 2. Then on another flight, I heard this from a pilot, a co-pilot. They were on the runway out of Singapore and slowly taxiing to the runway. And Mr. Lee Kuan Yew was behind them in the cockpit, behind him. And he was fumbling, with the seat belt. So this co-pilot was thinking, Mr. Lee probably doesn't know how to fix the seatbelt. It was a bit complicating to a layman. So he turned around and said, "Mr. Lee, this is how you do it." He gave instruction. And Mr. Lee said, "You keep your eyes on the runway, the taxiway. If I don't know how to fasten this seatbelt, I won't be running Singapore, you know." So the co-pilot kept quiet. So when I I met Freddie Lee, Lee Kuan Yew's younger brother, much later, I asked him about this. We had a friendly chat on board, of course, and I asked him, why did your brother, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, had to tell the pilots, keep your eyes on the control, and if I don't know how to fasten the seatbelt, I can't govern Singapore. So he told me very straightforwardly. He said, "My brother is a coward. He wasn't being arrogant or rude, but he was afraid that these pilots would be too busy bothering him and forgetting about flying the plane, and he was afraid of that." So this is what I'm going to say for today regarding Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Thank you for watching.